Hello and welcome to the Rebel Ballerina Show. And I am the Rebel Ballerina, Lisa Loree, your host. And I'm so glad you're here today. It's about this time of year that I think pretty much, at least here in this area, everybody's back in school. And some parents are going, oh, thank God, after having the kids home constantly for the summer. Some parents are like, okay, whatever. Or it's more of a hassle actually because of the schedule and the driving and all that crazy going on. And some parents, they're not really getting a break because they homeschool. So they may be like going, dang, right along with the kids. But anyway, but it made me think because things are definitely different. I feel the change in traffic in particular of the school schedule because now the streets are more clogged. It's thicker traffic and stuff. And I happen to go to a Starbucks right nearby, which is also across the street from one of our high schools. Man, you can see them coming, and it's like, oh my gosh! And those poor baristas, holy moly! It's an overwhelming thing when those kids come in. And it's one thing that they're there because they're definitely like, wow, they are there. But a lot of times because it's their young energy, so it's loud and it's boisterous and there's lots of stuff going on and some drama. You can hear some of the different conversations and stuff. It's kind of interesting. But uh so there's just a lot going on, a lot of chaos. But it's school time, and people getting back into their normal schedules, which is school and then hopefully some other activities. And then that's what I wanted to talk about because I started thinking, I know kids are not looking forward to all the work unless you are a certain type of child, which was not me, meaning someone who's more a brainiac and is like, ooh, give me more homework. That would definitely not be me. But I started thinking of homework. And I remember when my kids were little, they're adults now, young adults, but when they were in grade school, first, second, even kindergarten, and they were getting homework. And I'm like, what? What the fuck is that? What 5-year-old needs homework? Five, six, seven, eight. Yeah, I know I just counted rhythm. But anyway, um, they need to be outside running around. That's what they need to be doing, not sitting at the kitchen table drudging through a bunch of homework. And I know at that level, it's like maybe a page of something. But really, honestly, do we really need that? So I started thinking about it. And I do understand because my sister was a school teacher for 36 years here in California, and she definitely saw a change throughout those decades of how you can run your classroom. There's a lot more mayhem, and so this is not a one answer thing like, oh, just stop giving so much homework. There are a lot of facets to this. Like even in the younger grades, she taught first grade, and there were so many kids that I would hear about over the years that are completely out of control, and not necessarily because there is an issue like a special needs type thing, though she did get a lot of the special needs like autism kids who really would have benefited more from a special day class, meaning special ed, and the rest of the kids in her class would also have benefited from that because then she wasn't torn between two groups, and everybody could have gotten their teaching all at once and it would have been a lot more smooth. So there is that. There is this huge push. I know because I've been in the autism world and special ed and all of that and IEPs. And there is a push to mainstream the higher functioning kids. And in some ways, I kind of get it. But in a lot of ways, I kind of don't. And I see it as the districts wanting to not have to pay for services. And I've been down that road too, hugely. So there, like I said, it's multifaceted. But I also see the whole institution as a whole, public school, as completely broken and fucked up, just to be blunt and honest. It already was when I was going through high school. I had my own horrible experience where I was, let's see, I did my freshman year and then the first quarter of my sophomore year. And the school had to be closed because of the racial riots going on. And for safety purposes, the school was closed for an entire week. I mean, that's pretty pathetic right there. But that's also a societal thing. But when the school reopened and my mom drove me up to the gate, I was like, I can't go in there. Please don't make me go in there. Because I literally did fear for my life. Plus, I was a stick figure, and I figured if anyone's going to be angry, they could easily take it out on me, and I would be in a very bad way. So she took me home. She's like, okay, took me home, made a few phone calls, and enrolled me into the Catholic high school in town, private school. Now, I'm not Catholic. I didn't go through a parochial school, so I had no idea what I was getting into. Well, I can say that one thing I was getting into was a much better education, bar none, 100%. But here is how severely the public school had already failed me. And this was flipping 40 something years ago. See, there's the math and blonde. So, anyway, I'm just estimating for that reason. So, it was bad. Oh my gosh. When I got into my French 2 class, and this is the perfect uh, example, French 2. Okay, I was taking French 2 at my public school, so naturally I'm supposed to just pick up a French 2 at my private school. I get into my private school and I'm literally 8 chapters behind. Now, how does that happen? That you can't even transfer from one class? I mean, I get it. You might be using a different textbook and stuff, but there's still some continuity between what you're learning and how you're learning it. Uh, it was like overwhelming, obviously, to say the least. I would literally sit in class and I could feel my face turning bright red because the teacher would call on me because she knew she had to get me involved or I would really learn nothing. And it was immersed. She'd never spoke anything in English. Thankfully, there was a very kind girl who sat next to me who would reach over and show me, we're right here in the book. So, because I couldn't even follow along. I was so lost. And so she would point that out for me, which was really, really very kind. But I was so embarrassed because I knew nothing. I just sat there like a deer in the headlights with my eyes welling with tears because I was so embarrassed and frustrated and I felt so stupid. Well, come to find out that the French 2 class that I was supposedly taking at my public high school was actually finishing French 1. Oh, okay. Well, that makes a lot more sense then as to why I was behind so severely. And that teacher was so embarrassed by this whole situation that she tutored me for free, which was smart on her part. But it didn't help a whole lot because I can't shove that kind of information. I'm not a savant, and not like Temple Grandin when she's that's such a great scene. Oh my gosh, if you haven't seen that movie, you really need to. Claire Danes plays the role of Temple Grandin, and she does such a fabulous job. But Temple Grandin has didactic memory, so she just flips the pages in her books and then reads them in her mind later on. That's not I did not get that a scoop of that, not even a tiny speck of that when I went through the smorgasbord of different tism traits. Not one of my traits. Um, no filters on my ears. Definitely got that one. Texture, like fabric stuff, got that one. Food textures, definitely got that one. Those are all some of the things I picked, but somehow I missed the didactic memory thing. Could come in handy. Anyway, she had that memory, and I love that scene because the professor, because she's at college, calls her out and says, "Your book's not even open." And then she starts reciting something. And it's like, ah, I love it. Oh my God. So fun. Check that movie out. Excuse me. If you have anyone in your family that is autistic, excuse me, I'm so sorry. You should see this movie. Clearly, my throat's not happy with me today. It's all the AC because it's really hot right now. And my throat and my sinuses do not like AC. The rest of my body sure appreciates it, not my sinuses. But anyway, it is a very entertaining movie and it's very educational. It's amazing. It's good for anybody to watch because if you don't know anything about autism or you've heard little bits and pieces by now, it's a really great movie. But that didactic memory is not part of my thing, so I could not absorb all of this information quickly at all. And the problem is, not that that's not just the problem, that was what I was facing in every single subject matter. I was behind. I went from getting mostly A's and a couple of B's, and I do believe my C, that would be in typing, which shows up now while I'm writing my book, which is why I write it pen to paper and then I have to take pictures of it through Chat GBT for transcription because I can't do it on a computer. It's no wonder because I got to see in typing. Not proficient at all. Anyway, I went from pretty good grades, not 4.0, but pretty good grades, to absolutely failing everything. I mean, F in every single subject. So, if you want to talk about someone who already dealt with feeling like they were not good enough, less than, unworthy, and stupid, this is just a great situation to be in because I really, really felt so incredibly stupid. Oh, and by the way, at this time, my mom was fighting for her life with cancer, and my parents were separated because he was having an affair. So there's a lot, a lot, a lot. And I cover all of this in my book. I go into fine detail. Well, not fine detail, but more detail. The problem is that I had that excruciating pressure on me and I didn't have anything to do. I mean, that was not my fault. It's not like I refused to do homework. It's not even like I refused to do homework in my public school. I did all of my work and I got decent grades. And yet I go from that to absolutely failing. Now, thankfully, the um, the admin at the private school were kind enough to give me C's. They lied. Oh my God, it's a Catholic school. But anyway, they they gave me all C's to the state so that it wouldn't absolutely kill my GPA in case I wanted to go to a university. But anyway, That was very kind of them. But they saw that it wasn't, I wasn't coming in and being a, like, oh, I don't care and I'm not going to do this work. No, I was just way overwhelmed and the public school had absolutely failed me. And that was 40 some odd years ago. Oh, and by the way, in my public high school, that in back it up, the girl I was talking to you about in French too, who would point out to me where we were so that I could at least sort of follow along, which was very kind. Contrast that to the guy I sat next to in biology class in the last table, which I hate being in the very back of the room, but contrast that with him with his book upright and open so he could roll his joints behind it during class. Oh my God. Total different caliber of person, too. Anyway, so my point is that the public school sucks. And I am very vocal about that, and I will not back down. And I know many of you actually agree with me, and I can almost guarantee that 100% of homeschool parents definitely agree with me. And you may sort of agree with me, but not that much because your kids are in the public school system and you don't want to have to deal with homeschooling. That's okay. But I'm telling you, it sucks. It does not work. It's bad. And here brings me back to my whole point. If you can't get all stuff taught during the school day for kindergartners, first, second, third grade, something is really wrong. They should not be having homework. As a matter of fact, I don't even think we should be having homework until maybe junior high. Maybe. And then it should just be light because there are so many other things that need to be taking place. Like, say, ballet classes. You knew I was going to go there. Um, Ballet, music, sports. It just, there's so many really important things that kids need to be involved with. And those are scheduled activities. They still need to have time to just go outside and play. Now, I know that's a whole nother issue these days because of screen time, the phone, the TV, the computer, and all of, your social medias and stuff. It's crazy. Oh my gosh, the stress and pressure on today's teenagers and preteens is ridiculous. But kids need to be outside. I don't care what the age is. They need to be outside playing or inside doing other things like good old fun, imaginative things that are actually much more conducive to real learning and life skills than frickin' pen to paper homework because it's not done in the classroom. So that's how I feel about that. And now that we're starting a whole nother school year, you just know that there are all these kids going home and they have all this homework to do. And whether or not they even get it done, I don't know. I don't know. And it's really tough to be able to have a life and get all that homework done. And it's because it's just increased in volume over the years. I just don't like that. I don't think that's smart. I don't think that's a good thing at all. And a lot of it is just stupid busy work. It would be much better use of time to do other things. Like I said, different activities or time together that you're doing imaginative things. Anyway, I will say that at the studio, I way appreciate the homeschool families because those kids get to spend more time doing this activity, which is absolutely stimulating brain power and all kinds of different things. And so it's so nice that homeschooling has really taken off and it continues to take off even more as the public school system gets worse and worse. More and more parents are going, mm-mm, nah, this isn't cutting it. And besides, the public schools have been completely co-opted by people who like to lie about us and our history and everything. So, I mean, it's not even accurate anyway. And I don't know, new math? What the hell was wrong with the old math? There's no reason for new math. How can math be new? Uh, How can math be new? It's just truth that's always been. Like, does 2 plus 2 suddenly equal 5? I mean, what are we talking about here? It's anyway. I don't know because I don't get to put that ridiculous curriculum together, and I wouldn't. But anyway, it's that type of stuff. It doesn't make any sense, and that's what is being fed to our kids. So that's also another huge part of why I'm like, "Ugh," with public school. I love the fact that we have more kids doing more homeschooling at the studio so that they can spend their time learning something that's, even if they're not going to become a professional dancer, is actually feeding their brain and creating more for them than a stack of homework would ever do. Ever. And it's just, this is just one thing. And by the way, if you're in the Temecula Valley area, Academy of Ballet Arts is definitely the place to bring your kids for that training because it's the best place to get real ballet training. So I'm just going to put that out there. But there are so many good things that kids could be doing rather than looking at a whole stack of papers and stack of books on the kitchen table or in their room. And I just, every year we start school, there's a part of me that just kind of cringes. And these are those reasons. So I don't know. I'd love to hear your feedback, and if you have something to challenge me with, I'd love that even more. I love if you agree with me, let me know, but if you find something that you disagree with, I would love to hear you. Or if you're a public school teacher and I've offended you, I don't know what to say. I'm not attacking you, the person, that's for sure, but you're stuck in a system that's not working. Uh, and my sister, she can attest to what she saw and told me about over the course of 36 years. You know, she saw a lot and experienced a lot. I heard, and I heard her frustration over the years. Anyway, but yeah, here is uh, a look at Academy of Ballet Arts. My producer is so kind to pull it up for me because he never knows what I'm going to talk about. So he's always like trying to dig some up on the fly. There it is. I love it. I love that this is a studio where I teach and train, and they do a lot. Miss Dana Nelson, who is superb, superior, even. And the students, it's a small studio, but the ratio of students that we have had to go on actual company dancing is pretty big. It's pretty amazing. And have done um we have done different, what do you call it, competitions, YAGP, and always have some kind of really good outcome there, even to the point of best acknowledged as best studio, best teacher. And our kids win multiple prizes there, multiple placements. We have two that in two separate years, each one was chosen of only four one year and only six on the different year to go to Prix de Lausanne competition in Switzerland. That is huge. That is super huge. There are only, let me go over that again. Only four of the entire US, or only six of the entire US, invited to go to that competition. And we have had two of those, two separate years, two students invited. That is freaking impressive. That's Dana Nelson right there. So if you want real training, if there is any possibility at all, and you're seeing all these pictures, if there's any possibility at all that your child, and I'm not saying girl because guys do this too, we have guys, that's one of our guy dancers holding up that girl. So if you want the best training, this is where to go. Even if they're not going to be a professional dancer, but want to learn it really well, which to me, if you're going to learn something, you may as well learn it really well and be taught the correct way. So there's that. But ballet training, and especially good ballet training, has so many significant uh, benefits: mind, body, soul, even. It might turn into a lifelong fun thing that you do, like an adult student that I work with. So, yeah, there are plenty of other things too. I love to highlight Academy of Ballet Arts because they are so good and dear to my heart, obviously. But music, learning an instrument, singing, being involved with musical theater. How about martial arts? Any of the sports? It's like getting out there, learning stuff. There's so many beneficial things learned in each one of those things. It's not just ballet. Of course, I think ballet takes the cake and includes everything, really everything, to a huge degree. But all of these different activities are so significant. And yet, if your kid is bogged down with stupid, busy work, homework, that it's taking them away from that, then I don't see the benefit in that at all. Anyway, I don't know that I have any solutions. I'm just ranting because I can't do anything about the education system except for recommend homeschooling because then you know what your kids are being taught and you can monitor all of that, and you don't even have to be the actual teacher anymore. So that's definitely a better choice in my opinion. There are some private schools or charter schools who are actually doing a really good job. But your general public school, nah, nah. But that being said, I hope that you will have a super awesome day and have a little compassion on all the kids you're seeing toting around those heavy backpacks. Maybe start going to some of the meetings. If you're a parent, maybe going to the PTA meeting, seeing if you can do anything to help this out. I don't know, but try to get your kids somewhere into some activity. There are community activities too. You don't have to spend a ton of money. I know that there are a lot of community things going on as well. I think in every community, but I don't know that because I haven't looked at every single stinking community in the country. But check it out though. See what your community has to offer. Even if it's a walking group, if you can't find anything, create something, a walking group or some kind of something that you get together and do something for the community. I don't know, just throwing things out there. But I do have compassion for all these kids walking around with those heavy backpacks, knowing that they're wasting their time on busy work when they could be doing something that actually has huge benefit if they're not doing that already. Anyway, we'll see what comes up for next week. But that's it for me for today. Oh, yeah. And check out my own, uh, what do you call it? My fun quotient quiz to see where your fun is being stolen from you. Like if you're doing too much homework, for instance, that could be part of it. And yeah, check it out. Take that quiz because that could be really eye opening for you. I have a feeling it would be. It definitely was for me. This whole process for me was way eye opening. And that's why I'm writing a whole big book about it. Here's my ebook, which you could definitely take a look at. But my handwritten book, Rebel Ballerina, is coming soon, but man, the things I've learned, wow. And that's why I've written them down for your benefit. So, anyway, I will see you again soon. Thanks for stopping by and give me your feedback. I'd love to hear what you have to say about anything that I've talked about, or if there's something that you want to hear about, you want me to talk about, let me know. I'm sure I have an opinion about it. Pretty guaranteed. But anyway, let's see what we can do. So have a great day and I'll see you again soon.